Good evening. I call to order the Lake Havasu City Council regular meeting on Tuesday, October 11, 2022 at 6 p.m. We'll now have an invocation from Pastor Dale Ray from Lakeview Community Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance from the Lake Havasu Gem and Mineral Society, Alan Yanity.
Good evening. In the Old Testament, the people asked the prophet what would please God, and the prophet told them it isn't that hard. From Micah chapter 6 and verse 8, He, God, has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Precious Heavenly Father, I pray for our mayor, for each council member, for leaders for such a time as this, as they give their time, talents, and treasures. Guide them by your Holy Spirit, that they will exercise justice and punish evil, promote good, and pursue peace, for this is truly the business of government. I ask that they are reminded as to why they sought the office to which the people of Lake Havasu City elected them. Help them to prioritize the vision you inspired to serve the people above the business of the office, that this will be a better place for their children and their children's children. Kindness is the trait you, O God, expect of us, even when others do not show kindness. Father, what others may do to us, may it not be an excuse for unkindness or evil in any of us. Forgive us, heal us, that we may pursue your peace. I pray that all evil in any form be pushed back from this city. Expose and expel wickedness as you work through each citizen for the good you have in mind. Guide this meeting by your Holy Spirit and future meetings for the term of these who serve today and others who will follow them. Their office will have its joys and its difficulties. So inspire them to remain honest in all they do, to render to everyone what is their due, to be equal to all, to cherish compassionate faithfulness, to be kind to all that need your kindness with respect to the law of love, and show mercy with delight in showing it, to commit themselves to seek your holy guidance, keep their hearts sincerely humble before you. Those who govern are fallible people, just like us, needing God's wisdom just as much as we do. We all do well not to forget that. I ask this prayer in submission to the Lord of all, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Mr. Mayor, council members, and guests, thank you for giving me the honor of leading the Pledge of Allegiance today. I am Alan Yanity, member of Lake Havasu Gem and Mineral Society, and Lake Havasu Mineral and Lapidary. I'm also Building Fund Chairman. Our show next month is the longest continuously running event in Lake Havasu City, only missing 1 year for the COVID shutdown. I invite you to the show where I know you will see crafts and mineral specimens from around the world and many local crafts. Later this month, we will have showcases in the lobby showing what we search for in the surrounding desert. In fact, that starts next week in the lobby. And one display will be useful, beautiful things we make with the rocks we collect. I would like to invite all of you to come to see our present facility, join us on a field trip, attend a meeting, meet new friends. And if you'd like, go to the Lake Havasu History Museum, where we have a mutually beneficial agreement. We provide the labor to run the gift shop so we can sell some of our things there. Lake Havasu Gem and Mineral Society is a nonprofit dedicated to, among other things, fostering awareness in the earth sciences by teaching all who want to learn. We give scholarships every year to deserving students who want to further their knowledge of the earth sciences. After over 52 years, we decided we needed a permanent home with space for all our club needs and our community outreach. Our goal is to raise sufficient funds to buy or build a facility. In conclusion, I am a rock hound. I have a continuing interest in earth sciences, picked up as a 5th grader from a very dedicated science teacher. We hope to pass on to other young and old rock hounds. Thank you for any help you can give us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on
Thank you.
being the longest running club in our city. We'll now have the roll call. Ms. Davis, if you please call the roll.
Council members Nancy Campbell, here. David Lane,
Here.
Michelle Lynn, Cameron Moses,
Here.
Jenny Coate, Vice Mayor Jim Dolan,
I am here.
Mayor Cal Sheehy.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5 is our call to the public. This is an opportunity where citizens have to address the city council within matters of the jurisdiction of Lake Havasu City. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. There is a light indicator box next to Ms. Davis. Green means you have 3 minutes. Yellow means you have 1 minute remaining. And red means that the 3 minutes is up. If you are here for one of our public hearings, we do encourage you to wait till that time so we can have a two-way conversation. Otherwise, during call to the public, we can listen intently and we can give direction to staff on anything that we may hear. There are many ways to engage with public officials, and sometimes call to the public isn't the most efficient way. There are other ways you can reach out to us where we can have a two-way conversation. But if you would like to address us during call to the public, please, when you get to the podium, state your name for the record. And then just face forward to the council because you'll be directing your comments or thoughts directly to the city council. If there is any criticism, members of the council can respond to criticism at the conclusion of the call to the public. This is a business meeting, so we ask that you keep your comments within decorum. If we can't do that, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public and continue on with our business meeting. You do not have to sign up for call to the public, and no one did today, but if anyone would like to address the council at this time, please make your way to the podium, state your name for the record, and share your comments. Please.
Robert Fisher. I frequently drive Lake Havasu Boulevard in the vicinity of Kiowa, where there was a huge water main leak a few months ago. And I wonder if there's a schedule to fix that pavement, because it's just abominable to try to drive through there from any direction. Yeah. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have the city manager or maybe Anthony can reach out and give you some information about that, but a conclusion is coming very quickly. So.
Good evening, City Council. As a taxpayer, we're increasingly aware of our tax dollars have not and are not being used appropriately. For example, we will be expecting some type of information back from the case with interagency, which we gave them millions of dollars and nobody followed up. It was reported several times and nobody from the City Council ever addressed it. Taxpayers should be able to receive something back from his illegal activity. Go Lake Havasu was awarded a contract without providing financials related to what it's going to cost to promote our city. They now have an excess of $2 million of our money on their books. We are still waiting for the amendment contract that will return the money to the city when their services are no longer required. We are still waiting for an accountability exactly what these services cost to determine reasonable fees. In the meantime, we just continue to funnel money to this organization. A building was purchased to be used as a courthouse after City Council and taxpayers were told that we had no choice due to Mojave County telling us we had to deconsolidate. We already went through that and it turned out to be a lie. Now we know that was not true. Additional renovation costs, maintenance, personnel costs, etc. were not studied. So we now either sell the building or keep throwing good money after bad of our tax dollars. We hired another code enforcement officer, but have not scheduled citywide bulk waste drop-off events, which we used to have, and it's in their contract, and Jess is not making sure that it happens at least once or twice a year. We have at least 2 a year, more than 4 on that contract. Republic Services trash collection. So this should be scheduled by our city manager and to help keep our residents' their property maintained. Public Services is contracted for no less than 2. Okay, I'm not going to go there with that. But on all the contracts that are written that I have seen in the last month and a half, there's provisions in there to be followed that were written by Jess that this city council does not enforce. It's costing the people money, and you're not doing your job to enforce those issues on those contracts. If you're going to write a contract or a notice to somebody, to the public, why aren't you following through with it? We are looking to you guys for leadership, and we don't have any from you.
Would anyone else like to address the city council during call to the public?
Hey, good evening. It's Bonnie Toy. How are you doing tonight? And just want to thank everybody for being here. I really appreciate y'all listening to me. One, I just wanted to remind you that you guys promised, or a few of you promised back in June, that when you start your next tax cycle, that you would consider lowering the tax rate for the next year. Also, I know that I don't know when the next parks meeting is, but I just want to reiterate the need to lower the cost for the children of the aquatic center during the summer vacation. And again, just so I'm not being confused, in case you guys do confuse my idea of trying to make the aquatic center free, that's not my suggestion at all in any way, shape, or form. Just lower extremely the cost so parents can send multiple children to the aquatic center at the same time for more than one day during the whole summer. Then there was a couple other things I listened intently to the Coffee with the Mayor on Friday. That was such a great event. Wish I'd been here. I didn't get to hear your dark sky explanation and how Lake Havasu is not a dark sky city. But yet at the tourism board, Go Lake Havasu website, it totally states that Lake Havasu is a dark sky community and was created to be a dark sky community, all based on Robert McCulloch's vision of us being a dark sky community. And I noticed that in the codes for the city, it does say that people's porch lights are supposed to be like 25 wattage, which I didn't know that, which reminds me I better check on mine. And then there is the slight issue of Mr. Dolan or Vice Mayor Dolan and the issue with everybody or you guys being upset with the members of the city for calling out about the drag show. You guys keep using the phrase, well, last year's event, and nobody cared about the children at last year's event. So I've listened to several of the city council meetings from last year's event. Last year's event was actually February 2022. It wasn't February of 21. So the whole issue was not a year ago. It was just when the people have brought it up as soon as they found out that it was going to be happening, people did start letting you know that they were upset at that time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Toy. Would anyone else like to address the city council during call to the public? Please make your way to the podium and state your name for the record.
David Leslie. When you want the conversation to be only limited to things that happen within the city limits, I can understand your point of view. But when we're accepting funds from the federal government, that does open the doors, in my opinion, to the conversations, because what does happen with that money, I'm not going to bring up all the issues across the nation, but what happens here can also happen around the country. I'm not going to be specific about that, but there's a lot of conversations about sending money throughout the nation. I mean, it's all on the internet. So I'll just say, I think the conversations need to be open about it. Yes, I know federal funding has probably always been going on between municipalities and the federal government, but we're living in times we've never had before. So just my thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the city council during calls to the public?
Hi, my name's Alfred De La Rosa. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'd like to recite Section 3B and C and Section 4, C, D, and Section 5 of the Lake Havasu City Council Code of Conduct. 3B states, A starts as, council members shall treat people with respect, regardless of their race, age, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or disability, and shall not unlawfully discriminate against any person or group of persons. Difficult questions, tough challenges to a particular point of view, and criticism of ideas and information are legitimate elements of a free democracy in action. This does not allow, however, council members to make belligerent, personal, impertinent, slanderous, threatening, abusive, or disparaging comments. No shouting or physical actions that could be construed as threatening will be tolerated. Section 4 instructs us to treat all staff as professionals. 4C says, regard to the officers and employees appointed by the city manager, neither the city council nor any of its members shall direct or request the appointment of any person to or the removal or suspension from office by the city manager or any of the city manager's employees, or in any manner take a part in the appointment or removal of such officers and employees in the administrative services of the city. Council members shall never express concerns about the performance of a city employee in public to the employee directly or to the employee's supervisor. Comments about staff performance shall only be made to the city manager, excluding those employees appointed by the council, i.e. the city attorney or municipal judge. 5, sanctions. Council members who intentionally and repeatedly do not follow proper conduct may be reprimanded or formally censured by the city council, losing seniority or committee assignments both within Lake Havasu City or with intergovernmental agencies, or have official travel restricted. Serious infractions of the code of conduct could lead to other sanctions as deemed appropriate by the council. And I would submit to the council that on 2 occasions, Councilman Dolan, out of the abundance of his heart, spewed vile, malicious, venomous vomit onto the people of Lake Havasu and the electorate and disgraced these chambers. I submit to the council that you should apply these sanctions to Councilman Dolan, and that you remove him, formally censure him and remove him from any of the Lake Havasu City committees or any other intergovernmental things. And I would like to also point out that number D.
No, your time is up. We appreciate
Okay.
the comments, so thank you. Yes.
Is it even legal?
Would anyone else like to address the city council during call to the public? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public. Would any of the council members like to respond to any criticism? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, the consent agenda. Would any of the council members like to remove any of the items for separate discussion?
Mr. Mayor, move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Lane, a second from Councilmember Moses. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready. Councilmember Lane, I believe you might need to hit the, thank you. All right, seeing none, we are ready to vote. Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. The next item is item 7, correspondence, communications, petitions, announcements, and the city manager report. We'll start with item 7.1, which is announce the vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. Ms. Davis?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There are several vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. The following is a listing of those vacancies. Board of Adjustment, 3 alternate members, and the Planning and Zoning Commission, 1 regular member. Anyone that is interested, they could pick up a packet at City Hall. They are also available on the city's website at lhcaz.gov. And also the deadline to submit these applications is Friday, November 4th by 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.2 is the city manager's report. Good evening, Mr. Knudsen.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Let's start this evening's report with recognition for our fire chief. At the most recent Western Arizona Vocational Education, or WAVE board meeting, Chief Palafis accepted the WAVE Outstanding Work Award on behalf of the Lake Havasu City Fire Department from the Lake Havasu High School CTE Director, Marcia Becker. This award is in recognition of the positive, productive partnership between the city and Lake Havasu High School CTE program. Chief Palafis provides the students access to the fire station weekly, allowing them to experience hands-on training with fire service equipment and personnel. And Instructor Gina Gutierrez works with CTE instructors on the scope and sequence at the state level and continues to improve the course. Without the partnership, the fire service program at at our high school would not exist. Thank you for being a part of the WAVE and our high school teams. We appreciate your collaboration, your dedication, and your support. Thank you. Officer Michael Thornhill was recognized and awarded Officer of the Year at the recent Elks Law and Order Night. Officer Thornhill has been a dedicated officer with the Lake Havasu City Police Department for over 15 years and currently serves as a certified watercraft operator as part of the Community Service Unit. Is a member of the dive team. He's a crisis negotiator. He's the lead explorer advisor and the lead member of the Honor Guard. He is also the department's Bolo Wrap instructor and master taser instructor. Officer Thornhill has served in the United States Marine Corps for 14 years and is now serving with the 161st Unit of the Air National Guard as Staff Sergeant Crew Chief for the KC-135 aircraft. Congratulations, Officer Thornhill. Nice job. Police Officer Chris Angus joined the Kiwanis Club's Scout Troop 85 PAC meeting. Officer Angus talked about the importance of having good relationships between the public and the police department to help keep the community safe. Councilmember David Lane, you also attended the meeting as the president of Kiwanis and told us the kids had a great time looking inside the police car and seeing all the equipment that it takes to get the job done. Good job, and thank you to Officer Angus. The Lake Havasu City Police Department was awarded the Governor's Office of Safety Grant for federal fiscal year, October 1st, 2022 through September 30th of next year. The award, totaling $33,713, is for conducting increased traffic enforcement operations and purchase of directional radar units. The grant provides the Lake Havasu City Police Department the ability to increase traffic enforcement capabilities by assigning personnel on overtime to concentrate on speed enforcement activities and reduce the number of speed-related crashes, traffic fatalities, and injuries resulting from speeding, aggressive driving, red light running, and other forms of risky driving behavior. Mayor Sheehy, you proclaimed October 9th through October 15th as National Fire Prevention Week in Lake Havasu City. This year also happens to be the 100th anniversary celebrating Fire Prevention Week. This year's theme is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. And this is a good reminder for all those throughout the community to plan ahead. If a fire breaks out in your home, do you know what to do? We only have a few minutes to get out safely once the smoke alarm sounds. Everyone in the home needs to know what to do and where to go if there's a fire. Mayor Sheehy proclaimed the month of October as National Code Compliance Month and presented the proclamation to our code enforcement officers, Denise Abel and Lauren Allison. Our code enforcement officers provide for safety and welfare of the citizens throughout the city through enforcement of local codes or ordinances facing various issues of building, zoning, housing, environmental, and health and life and safety issues. Thank you to Development Services Department, led by Jeff Tuneman, and to our code enforcement officers for the good work you do in our community. The past two weeks, Mayor and Council, you've attended a number of ribbon cuttings and ceremonies, annual walks and proclamations and presentations that include Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Cooking with Cancer at Grapes and Grains, Lake Havasu City VA Clinic, the Alpha Delta Kappa Month, the Pregnancy Infant Loss Day, National American Indian Heritage Month, and 24-hour Sleepless in Havasu Day. That's a lot of positive and great work that's happening throughout our community, and we're thankful for everybody. Applications are being accepted for the Community Resource Program that allocates funds for successful programs through local nonprofits and public service organizations. The program supports local local organizations in the areas of food, housing, medical services, agency services, childcare, senior adult care, senior services, or other social services. The deadline to apply is December 9th this year by 5 p.m. More information is on the city's webpage. With the link is on the slide there. And it looks like we're going to have a pre-application meeting to address any applicant questions. And that's going to be scheduled for October 21st from noon to 2 o'clock at City Hall. So if any social service or nonprofit organizations have questions about the funds and how to apply, that is the place to be at that time for those questions. And then lastly, I'd like to share a really short commercial video. Our HR Director, Bobby Kimbleton, and her team led the effort to create recruitment videos for our organizations as we attract employees to Lake Havasu City and within Lake Havasu City. These videos will play on television and on social media through very targeted marketing efforts. And I'd like to play one of those for you.
Looking for a career in an active community where the water is blue and the sun is always shining? A career where you can grow, offers continuous paid training and flexibility? Then Lake Havasu City, Arizona's playground, is your home destination. Lake Havasu City is now hiring heroes, looking for firefighter paramedics, police officers, and public safety dispatchers. Don't wait. Start a career with great benefits. This is more than a job. This is a lifestyle. Apply today at lhccareers.org.
Yeah. And then lastly, an announcement that our Fall Fun Fair will be this Saturday, October 15th. So take a look at our website for more information and look forward to seeing everybody there. Mayor and Council, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 8, our public hearings, starting with item 8.1 is adopt ordinance number 22-1294, amending Lake Havasu City Code, Chapter 8.08, nuisances, revising definitions, updating and clarifying nuisances, and including criminal enforcement. Good evening, Mr. Morris and Ms. Abel.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council members. As you mentioned, this is a nuisance code amendment. This item was introduced at the previous City Council meeting on September 27th. Council reviewed the proposed changes and directed staff to remove a reference to palm tree fronds from one of the sections, but no other changes were suggested. This item is now before the Council for its adoption. Staff will be happy to review any of the proposed changes with Council if you have any specific questions. That concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Morris or Ms. Abel from members of the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council for discussion or possible motion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Moses.
I move to adopt ordinance number 22-1294, amending Lake Havasu City Code, Chapter 8.08, nuisance, revising definitions, updating and clarifying nuisances, and including criminal enforcement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried. 4-0.
Okay, so motion carries 5-0 on that item.
Yeah, I didn't catch one.
So motion carries 5-0. Excellent. We'll move on to item 8.2 is adopt ordinance number 22-1295, amending Lake Havasu City Code Chapter 1.12, Code Compliance, adding Section 1.12.025, interference. Mr. Morris.
Honorable Mayor, council members, this is a companion piece to the previous item. Again, this was introduced to the City Council at the previous council meeting. The council had no suggested changes. This proposed amendment adds language that specifies it's a Class 1 misdemeanor to interfere with code enforcement officer or contractor in the pursuit of their duties. And a Class 1 misdemeanor is a fine up to $2,500 and up to 6 months of jail time. Now it's being before you for adoption. Of course, we're open to any changes or questions you may have still. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Morris or Ms. Abel for members of the council? Yeah, and as the discussion we had, this is the final adoption. So our previous discussion was this mirrors the same protections afforded to our animal control officers within that code. Seeing no questions, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council for discussion or possible motion.
Mayor, motion.
Councilmember Lane?
I move to adopt ordinance number 22-1295, amending Lake Havasu City Code, Chapter 1.12, Code Compliance, adding Section 1.12.025, interference.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Lane, a second from Councilmember Moses. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Morris and Ms. Abel. We went through that very quickly because we spent a lot of time at it at our last meeting, but thank you for all the work that you put in identifying what the largest complaints were that we were getting from citizens and addressing that from a code perspective so that we can continue to make Havasu be a beautiful community that it is. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Your thanks is much appreciated.
Yes. All right, moving on to item 8.3 is approve and authorize the city manager to execute a crisis intervention agreement with Community Health Associates for the assignment of a crisis mobile team specialist to Lake Havasu City. Chief Doyle.
Mayor, council, thank you. This item is basically an agreement to house a mobile crisis team here at the police department and embed them within our operations department. This started many years ago. We've been trying to gain some service here in Lake Havasu City where we could get a mobile team to come out to the scene of the crisis. We've been woefully lacking that service here in Lake Havasu City. We have different mental health providers. However, all we're able to offer on scene is a hotline for them to call or refer them to a service. And what we really need is we need a mental health professional to come out to the scene with us and assist us with the person in crisis. We've had many meetings over the last few years of attempting to get this type of service here. We even had put out some requests for proposals. And first time we received nothing. The second time we received some, however, the costs were pretty much prohibitive for us to bring that service within the city. Not too long ago, we got contacted by the Community Health Associates to advise that they were bringing their service to Mojave County. So we met with them. They're currently providing that service in 6 other counties in the state. And Mojave County, they were going to be opening up that service as of August 1st or October 1st. So we got together with them, we met and said, how can we partner? And they said, well, we're looking for office space in Lake Havasu City. We said, we'd like to actually provide you the space here in the police department so that your crisis advocates could actually work with our officers, provide us training, and just establish that cohesiveness that we can use them out in the field. That began October 1st, and we've already utilized them on a number of calls. It's a daily occurrence for us to deal with people in mental health crisis. We've used them in code enforcement issues to go out and assist in that aspect. So it's already returning dividends for us. So this is an agreement which is just going to allow kind of like services. We can house them with space here in the police department, which we do have the space for them, and they're going to provide us that co-response as well as training to our officers.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. What a great program and a blessing for our community to have services like this so readily available.
It is. We're very excited about it.
Yeah, thank you. Are there questions, comments from members of the council for the chief? Councilmember Moses?
Can you recap, is there a cost to Lake Havasu other than the space?
There's no cost to us other than the space we're providing.
That's wonderful. And then is this going to free up your officers for other issues that they might be able to, you know what I mean? Or some things that maybe they don't need to go to that they can just respond to?
There's definitely that potential. Obviously, we first make sure that it is secure, but we do have, for instance, we do have people that we constantly deal with that aren't necessarily dangerous. They just have mental health crisis. What this is going to do is kind of hopefully bring an end to the repetitiveness of us constantly going out there, where now we can bring somebody out to them and they can get them to the services, get them the counseling, follow up with them, instead of constantly deploying a police officer to deal with them. So if there's any kind of danger or it requires a police, we will respond. We can bring them with us. We can call them and have them come up and meet us up there. Or once we turn these people over to them, now hopefully we can establish that relationship between the crisis worker and that person, that they'll start communicating with them and we'll get them the appropriate help.
Awesome. Thank you for helping this resource come to Lake Havasu. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from members of the council?
Just great work.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Yeah, please just make your way to the podium and state your name for the record.
David Leslie. What the chief said sounds very familiar, what they're doing around the nations. Just a comment.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. It's bringing services to citizens that need it. So that's what the intent of this action is.
Hey, how you doing? It's Bonnie Toy.
Yeah, if you could just bring the microphone down, Ms. Toy.
Again? Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm so short. Okay, first, I have a couple of questions. One is, you said it's free to the city. Is it state funded or federally funded? And who pays their salary? And the space involved? Also, I really was just wanting to make sure. So if I'm having a mental health crisis and I call 911, then and tell the 911 I'm having a mental health crisis, are they going to send them out or the police out, and then the police send them out? Or yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Chief, did you want to answer those questions or do you want me to start it off?
I can work on that.
Okay, perfect.
Each situation is going to be different, and we'll assess and determine what the response will be. But each situation is different. Bonnie, if it was you, I would come out myself.
Yeah.
So, every situation is different. If it's somebody that we've dealt with and they're comfortable with, and they've established a rapport with those crisis individuals, we can put them with them. If there's any danger to the neighborhood, we'll obviously go and handle it. And in reference to what's happening around the country, there was a lot of there was a lot of talk about wrapping this type of service around a defund the police type mechanism, and I think that's where we were going with that. And in no way, shape, or form is the funding of the police department being lowered. This is another added service. This is something that my officers are becoming extremely frustrated with for many years now, that we don't have this ability, and it's sticking us. We're not professional mental health providers, but we get stuck dealing with it, and we don't have the capabilities to provide the services to the people, and we deal with them over and over and over again. This is another tool that we're going to be able to add to deal with it. It's not removing police officers. It's not defunding police officers. It's not lowering our services in any way, shape, or form. This will be adding to our toolbox of what we're able to provide to the community.
Yeah, thank you. And the funding comes from the Department of Health Services is who's paying for it. So there's no cost to Lake Havasu City. Yeah. Any other citizens like to address the City Council during call to or this public hearing? All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for questions, discussions, or a possible motion.
Mayor, motion.
Yeah, please.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute a crisis intervention agreement with Community Health Associates for the assignment of crisis mobile team specialists to Lake Havasu City.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Lane and a second from Councilmember Campbell. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 8.4 is approve amendment number 1 to the cooperative purchase agreement with Omnia Partners for the purchase of a Toro Groundsmaster 4000D from Simpson Norton Corporation, a distributor for the Toro Company. Mr. Young.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, we're back again. Tonight we're looking at replacing one of our large deck mowers for parks, a Toro Groundmaster 4000D. These units are recommended replaced at 32 points. This one is currently sitting at 40.3 points. It's got 3,387 hours on it, $22,312 worth of repairs and maintenance in it, and it is currently needing an engine. So I ask that you allow this cooperative purchase through Omni to go through for $96,203.57. And we are getting our new Toro that we ordered last year next month. So things are looking up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Young. What is the ETA on this mower if approved this evening?
It's a year plus out.
Yeah, it's such a challenge.
Got to take the good with the bad.
Are there any questions from members of the council for Mr. Young?
I guess I'm seeing a discrepancy in the price on two different things. My communication on here says 88,000, but on this sheet of paper that you do the grading on, it says the purchase price for the new unit is 96,000.
The 88,000, that does not include the state tax. With the state tax, $7,618.33, it goes up to $96,203.
Gotcha. Gets us up to 96. Already.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Young from members of the council?
Yes. Is that thing supercharged?
They do a good job. This one made it 16 years before it started really hindering us, and I think they're worth their weight in gold. They keep our parks looking good, and I would say in a roundabout way, yeah, it's supercharged.
Yeah. All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Yeah.
Quick question. Sorry, Bonnie, Toy. The warranty issues on it. My mom, I have family who are dealing with broken, what are those things called? Generators. And the warranty people did not want to keep their warranty. So I was wondering about the warranty on this thing.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Mr. Young, do you have information about any warranties that would come with this unit?
Yes, we have the Toro Protection Plus, 5 years, 3,500 hours. And we work through Simpson and Norton, and they are out of Phoenix, so it makes it easier to get help from them when the time comes. And we've had great success with Simpson and Norton in the past.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Frankie Lyons. I'd like to thank him for the work that they do out there in our parks and stuff to use that equipment. My question is, why do we wait to the last minute for something to break to make sure that it's ordered in time? This one is overdue, And I'm not understanding why we have, the same thing with the paint striper. It broke and it took us months to get parts for it. Why can't we do a preventive thing? They know it's coming up and bring it to this board, to this council ahead of time so they're not behind in their work, which means the other equipment is double worked. I'd like you to give these guys some consideration.
Yeah, no, great comment. And we have been supporting, and it's the supply chain issues that we're running into. And so we're running into a year lead time for vehicles, vehicle replacement that all occurred in a sudden fashion in late 2020 and continued on through 2021. So this particular mower was to add to the fleet. But now, as Mr. Young reported this evening, we are having issues with another unit that just went down. So it is a challenge. We approved one of these last year, and it just arriving now. So
In November, not even yet.
no, it's not even here yet. So we can't even count on it for sure. So would anyone else like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for discussion or possible motion. And before we do that, Ms. Gary, should we change the motion to the 96,000 that includes tax? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mayor?
Councilmember Moses?
I move to approve amendment number 1 to Cooperative Purchase Agreement 500221, renewing the agreement through March 31st, 2023 to Simpson Norton Corporation for the purchase of a Toro Groundmaster 4000D in the amount of $88,585.24 plus tax, and authorize the city manager to execute the amendment on behalf of the city.
We have a motion from Councilmember Moses and a second from Councilmember Lane. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. All right, item 9 are current events. Are there any current council committee reports?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, Vice Mayor Dolan?
I'd like to give an update from the Gull Lake Havasu board meeting. The one point I'd like to bring back to the board is our board was told that it is in the bylaws that the money goes back to the city if Gull Lake Havasu ceases to operate, and that they have submitted those bylaws to the city attorney so we can add that verbiage to the contract as well.
Yeah, thank you for the update, Vice Mayor Dolan. Does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Campbell?
Mayor, once again, the State Transportation Board meeting will be this October 21st with dinner and a nice sponsorship from Sunt, which is the original contractor that built the bridge, is going to be paying for our dinners, which is very nice. And I wanted to do a shout out to Summer Ray's Wine Bar for supplying some special gifts for everybody at the meeting. So again, it should be a really nice event for our State Transportation Board that we only host, I understand, once every 4 years. So it should be a nice night, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that all the council can join us and the other mayors from the other Tri-City Council. Thank you much.
Excellent, thank you. All right, item 10 is our future meetings. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, October 25th, 2022 at 6 p.m. It'll be a regular meeting. And then on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 at 6 p.m., we will also have a regular meeting. Item 11, are there any future discussion items? Item 12, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Be kind, and we'll see you next time.